Welcome. I want to thank you all this evening to a different version of our health talk that we normally do. We're focusing on one particular product only because it's so complex. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Nada St. Germain. I was introduced to Neolife over 33 years ago. I was working as a police officer in Toronto, and I was struggling with some, minor health challenges, some aches and pains and digestive trouble and allergies. I did have a lot of gut issues. So this is one of my favorite areas of health, learning more about just balancing that area of my life. But back then, I didn't realize that my gut health had any relation to allergies because I struggled with allergies for years. I was using antihistamines for years, and the Neolife products helped me, but it wasn't until I got my gut balance and things working properly in that area that I could say that I don't have any allergy symptoms. So it's been incredible over 32 years now of allergy-free, no antihistamines. And what you're going to learn this evening is just the power of probiotics. And I just wanted you to know that, when you're taking supplements and things like probiotics, it doesn't cure anything, but it's incredible how when you supply the body with the proper nutrition and things that are missing that need to be there, how the body just starts working better. And this evening, I have the pleasure of introducing Marilyn Vandenbrink. She's our holistic nutritionist here on our Canadian team. And she's very knowledgeable when it comes to, the supplements and health and nutrition and food and diet. And I have to share with you that this topic, I think, is one of the most complicated talks that we've ever had to do. So I also wanted to thank Chelsea Casella, who is a part of our team as well, who put this presentation together for me, and just so grateful for all the support that we have as a team. So anyways, Marilyn Vandenbrink, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nada. And fortunately, 27 years ago, you introduced a coworker of my husband, Henry, to Neolife. And that's how I first heard about it. And at the time, I was a concerned mom. I had 2 boys, and my younger son had a lot of respiratory issues and asthma. But the interesting thing was, we're talking about probiotics tonight. He had gut pains all the time, and his asthma and respiratory were triggered off by allergies. And probably because when he was born, they put him on antibiotics right at birth. So probably his gut flora was upset right at the time. And that's what led to these health challenges that he faced later on. So when we were introduced to Neolife, when I saw the science behind it, I was so impressed. And we got David started on the products and my other son, and they did amazing. It was just like Nana said, it didn't cure any disease, but it definitely built up his immunity and straightened him out so that he didn't have any issues. And myself, I got rid of the migraine headaches that I'd suffered from, my whole life. And probably a lot of that was related to my gut as well, because I had a very lazy bowel. So probably I wasn't getting rid of toxins. So that causes a lot of issues. So I'm pretty excited tonight to talk about this microbiota balance, because you're hearing more and more about the microbiome, about probiotics, about these things and how it affects so many different areas in our life. So when you look at it, what is the microbiota? It sounds so complicated, right? But really all it is millions of tiny living organisms that exist within our body. And when you put them all together, that's what the human microbiota is. So they individually are called microbes, and they live on and within the defensive linings of our body. So of course, the areas that protect us are our skin to keep things out, our nose, our mouth, and the highest area is in our gut. And this is why it has such an impact on our respiratory system. So we have trillions of these microbes. They say there's 100 trillion, over 1,000 varieties. And they consist mainly of bacteria, but they also can be things like bacteria, viruses, fungi, protozoa. Sounds lovely, right? Things that we don't really think that we want living in our bodies. And they mostly live in our intestines. And the area they make up the most is our gut barrier. And this is really important because so many conditions that you hear about, like Crohn's and colitis and irritable bowel syndrome are when this gut barrier breaks down. And this is very important in the numbers that are in this lining. And there's more than 1,000 bacterial species that have been identified in our human digestive system, but most of us have about 160, just to give you an idea. So the interesting thing is we are all unique. There is a tremendous variability between individuals. And the reason for this, things that can affect it, according to the life stage, like your life stages, like as you get older, you have less of these good bacteria. Genetics sometimes can play a role, and a lot of environmental factors, like things that you've been exposed to, like if you've been exposed to antibiotics or toxins or things like that. And each person has their own unique microbiota profile or signature. So it's actually made up in our bodies up to we're 3 years of age. So when you think about how important this is with young children, right, even as babies, like I know when I took my holistic nutrition course, they recommended that from birth to 6 months, every baby should be on probiotics to help build that good gut bacteria. But you think about what are a lot of kids on before they're 3 years old? They're on antibiotics. A lot of them are getting introduced to, you know, like foods that aren't maybe that healthy. So that plays havoc on their gut. And the Actinobacter type represented is by the Bifidobacterium. That's usually what's the main bacteria it's in a young child's colon, unless they're born by cesarean section. Because they don't pass through the birth canal, they don't get that bifidus bacteria. And as we get older, that bifidus declines. So it's a very important bacteria for young children. So the ability of our microbiota to influence the normal functions of our bodies is concentrated mostly in the digestive tract. There's not a lot in the stomach because the stomach's acidic, right? And the upper 2/3 of the small intestines don't have a lot. Most of it is lower down, and it plays a critical role in maintaining human health in many aspects. So in the lower part of the small intestines, that's where the most concentrations do, and they increase significantly. And a wider variety of microbes are present, including the bifidus. But the largest concentration is in the colon, or the large intestine, what's also known as the colon. And the relative richness and diversity of this microbiota contributes to our overall resistance and wellness. So that's why in later life, we have loss of diversity, decreased stability, and that's why older people are more prone often to getting sick, right? And especially when frailty sets in, there's a depletion of this positive lactic acid bacteria, which is so important for good health. So what do these good bacteria do? Well, they help break down our food so our cells can absorb nutrients. And I was just listening to the talk with John Miller and Dr. Ariana Kruge on polyphenols. And they were even saying polyphenols are those vibrant colors that are in fruits, like cranberries and pomegranate and that. And they said that a lot of these polyphenols, we can't break them down and use them if we don't have the right gut bacteria. They actually break it down. So about 70% of our immune system and our army of immune cells are located in close association with our digestive tract. So we don't really think of our immune system being in our gut and in that gut barrier. And these cells, in partnership with our resident microbes, they form our first line of defense, right? Which is also known as your innate immune system. And then they help shape and form our second line of defense, which is our adaptive immunity. So they play a huge role in the immune system. So before we go on why we need to supplement, I'd like to ask Stephanie, could you unmute yourself and share your story with us? Because I met Stephanie when I was taking my holistic nutrition course, and we learned a lot about gut health there. And would you like to share your story, Stephanie?
Sure. I can't see myself, so can you see me?
Yep, I can see you.
Yeah, okay. All right. Hi, everybody. Yes, we met 2005, I think, at holistic school. So yeah, I was a bit of a mess in my my stomach. So I met Mary Ellen, and then we were chatting and talking about issues and whatnot. I ended up getting diagnosed with colitis back then in 2005. It took them a while to figure out what was wrong. And Mary Ellen was asking me what I was doing and what's happening and whatnot. So obviously we chatted and I got involved with some of the products, and definitely the antibiotics did help me. Acidophilus, did help me quite a bit. I also was taking the rest of the supplements as well. I actually have colitis still, but I rarely have flare-ups at all. I eat regularly now. I do all kinds of stuff. It really has not affected my life at all anymore, but it used to. So I'm really happy that I have fixed that problem. And like I said, that started in 2015, so it's been a long time. And yeah, but I would say I'm quite healthy, and I don't have those issues anymore. I take my stuff every day, and I have been for the most part of all these years. So it's been really good. And yeah, I remember taking a bag out of my cupboard and putting all the whatever I was using to try and help myself at the time. It was like a big, huge bag of just garbage that I was taking. I had no idea what I was doing to myself. So thankfully for Mary Ellen, she put me on track. And like I said, I'm very healthy today.
Well, thank you so much, Steph. Yeah, and it's true, because like colitis is an autoimmune disease. So how it works with autoimmune, once you give your body the right balance, it kind of goes into remission. But if you get off balance, it can actually trigger it off again. So that's great that you've kept it under control all these years, for sure. And
Yeah.
especially you got a stressful job too as a mortgage broker, and
Yeah.
so
Exactly. Yeah. So, and I think that's where all my stuff started a long time ago, like back in 2000, was stress and whatnot. Just, yeah, taking on a lot of stuff and whatnot. So, yeah, but it was really amazing. The Acidophilus is fantastic, and I still take it today. So, yeah.
good. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
And now, Nada, would you like to share with us why we need to supplement?
Absolutely. And this gut bugs, right? This is what they're talking about, right? It's the good gut bugs, right? There's good stuff and bad stuff. And in the past, it was thought that the main purpose of our microbiota population was to contribute nutrients and energy, by fermentation of non-digestible dietary components like fiber in the large intestine. Now it is recognized that our microbiota is extremely important in many other aspects of our health and well-being. Apart from for digestion and food and things like that, so much research is known now to also produce enzymes, vitamins, neurotransmitters. They're all vital for numerous immune and metabolic functions. And this is a great example as to why our young children, especially struggling with ADD and ADHD, if they don't have enough of this good bacteria, they're really struggling with learning and focusing and concentrating. And we have a pharmacist in the US, some of you know her, Dr. Amanda Smith, and her youngest son their son had severe ADD and ADHD. And when they were introduced to Neolife, the nutritional products helped, but it wasn't until they added a good probiotic that his health turned around completely. Because it is our natural defense. Like, it's so important to give our body these nutrients because of our stressful lifestyles, right? Poor quality diet. There's also, things like using antibiotics and other treatments that can really disrupt that natural environment. So it's so important to find these nutrients and to put them back in again naturally, okay? So what are probiotics? Well, the word probiotic literally means for life, okay? So probiotics are living microorganisms that, when consumed in adequate quantities, provide benefits to digestion, but may help restore overall immune balance and even help synthesize other certain vitamins in the body. So it's so important that you understand that these live microorganisms, when they're administered in adequate amounts, you just have the better health overall. And probiotics supplements, they have their advantage in bringing far greater concentrated sources of beneficial bacteria. However, to qualify a true probiotic, a bacterial strain must have proven health benefits. And this means that bacteria present in traditional fermented foods and beverages such as kombucha, sauerkraut, and kimchi are not truly considered probiotics, okay? Since their health effects have not been studied and they are uncharacterized. So this is something that is new research, new information that I think is really, really valuable to share. So how do probiotics work? Well, they help with your digestion and your intestinal tract, you know, your immune response and your colon. So there's different stages. So it's so important that, you know, probiotics influence gut microbiotic activities as they pass through the intestinal tract as a transient visitor. So they actually move down along and deposit in the areas that are needed, okay? The most well-studied probiotics belong to two specific types, and this is the ones that we're probably more familiar with, is the lactobacillus and the bifidus, okay, the bifidobacterium. And these are the two that we're going to be talking about. But understanding probiotics, they restore normal intestinal function, okay? They inhibit the growth of bad or pathogenic bacteria. So, you know, the stuff that causes irritation and can even be cancer causing. Absorption of minerals. Clinically tested strains have been proven to prevent diarrhea, okay? And just to get that balance in that bowel activity and in the colon. And this is where I would like to actually introduce Judy Murray, a dear friend of many, many years. She has an incredible story on how probiotics have impacted her life. Judy, are you on?
Yes, I'm here.
Awesome.
I have fibromyalgia, and it really, well, it blocked up my bowels is what it did. I had taken Acidophilus at one time, and then I went to see someone with hopes of getting help with my cholesterol and blood sugars. And what she had put me on, I'm not saying that she was wrong in what she put me on. What I'm saying is what it did to me, as it gave me the runs. I was afraid to leave my house. I wouldn't go for a walk because I never knew when it was going to hit me. I went back on the Acidophilus as well as the breakfast pack. And it's been a godsend to me. Everything is back to normal again. So I'm grateful for the Acidophilus for that reason.
And Judy, your journey is, how many years ago did I introduce you to Neolife?
It's got to be about 12 years.
12 years?
It could be more, could be longer. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's been a bit longer. I think close to over 15, I think
It
years.
could be, yes.
Yeah.
And I struggled for a long time with getting the right doses of Neolife products to help get my pain under control. And it's only been in the last year and a half that I have to admit that I probably got everything back under control.
Yeah. And that's the thing with nutrition, when you're looking at, you know, supplementation, it takes time for our cells to regenerate, to get healthy, and it takes time for that healing to happen. And I think the reason why I think you're probably getting better results now is you're more consistent, and we have found the right combination, right?
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're
sure.
patient. You were patient and you persevered. And we also looked at diet, make some dietary changes. You're eating extremely healthy, and you know, all of that plays such a big role in healthy gut and healthy flora.
Yeah,
so
combinations are very important.
Yes, yeah. Thank you so much for sharing, Judy. Really appreciate it. So understanding probiotics. So again, support immunity and balance immune response. And Mary Ellen had talked about how, you know, our first line of defenses, right, is the microbiota community. And then, you know, the immune system, our second line of defense is our adaptive immunity. So there's two different sections. And when you're looking at innate immune system, you're looking at physical barrier. So your skin, your hair, right? Your mucous membranes, mucous chemical secretions, digestive enzymes in the mouth, and stomach acid. And I think this is where the allergy thing plays such a big role. Again, you know, I had environmental allergies. I was using antihistamines because that was unbalanced, okay? And then the internal defenses, again, is inflammatory response. the complement proteins, your healthy cells and natural killer cells. So natural killer cells fight cancer. So that's why it's so important to have this proper balance so that your immune system and the antibodies and the cells are healthy, and then there's better memory response. Okay, so that's why it's so important to make sure we have this proper balance of bacteria. And, there's so many probiotics out there on the market. I've had people try different ones and higher doses where there's a 50 billion and 100 billion. And, I've talked to our scientists over and over again, and they explain that it's not the amount, it's how much actually gets to where it needs to get to. And that's where the Neolife research is so powerful. Well before, this kind of came into play, the microbiome projects, and before probiotics research, came a hot topic, Neolife Scientific Advisory Board recognized the great importance of these beneficial bacteria. And Dr. Arthur First, for those of you that are meeting him for the first time, he was one of one of the top cancer researchers in the world and top toxicologists before Neolife. And he got away from drug research and cancer research in the drug department and dedicated the rest of his life to prevention and looking at food and diet, playing a big role in supporting our immune system and slowing aging. So incredible man. He put together some of the top scientists that work together as a team in developing and doing research. For example, they created this mechanical stomach where they can put different probiotics through this mechanical stomach to show us where the bacteria is actually depositing and if it actually gets to the lower intestine, okay? And most of the probiotics they test open up in the stomach acid and doesn't even make it to the lower intestine. So this is true solid science, and these scientists work with the company. They don't just endorse the product, okay? So Neolife's Acidophilus Plus, let's talk about the power of this product. And it was developed and introduced more than 2 decades ago. Working closely with the world's leading probiotic experts, Neolife's distinguished scientists were able to ensure that the best types of beneficial bacteria were selected. So it includes 5 strains, okay? The lactic acid producing bacteria with very traditional use in fermented dairy, whole foods such as yogurt, cheese, and kefir. And there's no dairy, like milk product in there. So if people do have sensitivities, you're not going to have an issue, okay? So it's really, really important. And these are critical, again, fermented foods or supplements that can really make a difference in producing that gut microbiota, okay? Very active. So a lot of published support, okay? These different bacterias have been researched and studied and published in human studies, peer-reviewed studies, and that's really important as well. So again, helps to support digestive support, intestinal balance, like ongoing research, alleviates constipation. You hear that all the time when people start taking a good quality probiotic. Works together with bifidus, helps support, again, digestion. So that's the lactobacillus. So all the different strains, do different things. And the lactobacillus, the bulgaricus, produces lactase. So that's great for people that are intolerant to dairy, to lactose. So amazing results with this product if people do have a sensitivity to dairy, okay? And the lactobacillus parasite, again, digestive support. It works with the B vitamins, which are really, really important. And that helps to minimize microbiota disturbances during antibiotic treatment, right? So that's another thing that really destroys some of that good live bacteria or antibiotics, okay? And then the streptococcus, again, produces lactase, helpful for those intolerant for lactose again, and works with bifidus to prevent diarrhea in infants, like Mary Ellen had talked about, okay? So again, it's very complicated. It's not a topic that's easy to understand or easy to talk about, but it's very, very important because it plays such a big role in supporting our immune systems and mental health. So potency technology, okay? So this is where the technology comes in with the gel guard protection. So It guarantees delivery. So it bypasses the stomach acid and the harsh environment created by bile salts in the small intestine. The gel matrix dissolves and releases the bacteria at the lower intestinal sites, and that's where they're needed. Okay. Again, and then a distal proportion in the other part, which is the large intestine. Okay. So with Acidophilus Plus, you can be guaranteed that live microorganisms survive the digestive process and will be delivered to the intestines. Each capsule is filled with 5 billion live microorganisms, as many as 10 servings of yogurt. Okay, I'm actually going to have Sean. Sean, can you unmute yourself? Sean King is a dear friend who I've known for probably over 20 years now. Actually, over 20 years, because you knew me when I was pregnant with my first son.
Before that, actually.
Pardon me?
It was before that. It was probably 24 years ago.
24 years ago.
Yeah.
And Sean and her family have been taking the products for many, many years, probably since I've met you. And Sean does have colitis, but one thing I wanted her to share with you this evening is the role it's played, Sean, with your immune system.
Yep. So I too just I forget her name that just talked about colitis too. I actually private messaged her about it, but Stephanie, yeah. So anyway, so I was diagnosed last December, and it came on because of a very stressful event. So mine is very triggered by stress, and with COVID, I have a very stressful job. But I haven't, knock on wood, been sick since all of this started, other than a few flare-ups, which I'm working on getting better. But I've literally been taking Acidophilus probably for 24 years, and I can say that I am rarely, it's probably my most the most consistent supplement I take. I take it every single day. I had some yeast problems years ago, and it's helped with that, that and the garlic, of course. But yeah, no, I have been taking this one without fail. It goes with me everywhere I go.
Awesome. Thank you. And the reason why I wanted Sean to share is, you know, there's a lot of people out there that struggle with autoimmune conditions, or, you know, where their immune systems are compromised. And this is why it's so important to keep that good bacteria in check so that you don't get sick. Okay, so you really play such a big role. And I also wanted to share with you that this information that we're sharing with you this evening came from a magazine called the Lifestyle Magazine. And if you don't have access to this, if you're a promoter, you have access to this article. Amazing article that they put together, which really gives an incredible explanation on the importance of probiotics and the role that they play. This is where this information was gathered for you this evening. But I also would like to now call on Shelley, because Shelley has had a journey her whole life with her son in dealing with some serious gut issues. Shelley, we'd love for you to share your story and your journey with you and your son.
Thanks, Nada. And I think when Mary Ellen was talking about, you know, what happens in the first 3 years of life really makes a difference in the gut of the child. And my son started off in getting interesting reactions from spiders and mosquitoes and all kinds of things. So was on antibiotics very young, and then got into the cycle of earaches and needing, you know, antibiotic. It was almost like a vicious cycle that we were going through, and using so much to the point I taught kids with hearing loss, and I was concerned about, you know, what was happening with his ears because he was having so many earaches and antibiotics. What I wasn't realizing at that point, because I wasn't involved with Neolife at that point, was what it was doing to his system. And when you add on that I was brought up in a family where you had desserts and had a wicked sweet tooth and loved our carbs, and Mitchell grew up having wonderful carbs and sweets, and I mean that's just kind of what we were doing, and adding in those sugars, between the antibiotic killing out the good bacteria and all of the sugars and foods, you know, being a feast for the bad bacteria, his body got completely out of whack. And, I had an issue called Candida. And so we were trying to deal with that when he was younger, and it got worse when he was 10, thought that we had kind of balanced his body, cleared things out. But all of a sudden, by the time he was 17, it had gotten worse because we really hadn't changed too much. We just went on another drug to kind of clear it out. By the time he was 16, 17, he was in some severe issues with his digestion, with diagnosed with IBS through the medical field. And after many, many tests trying to figure out why he had all these stomach issues. So the interesting thing it was, I had been introduced to Neolife and started asking questions and was gathering a lot of information as to what Candida was, started changing some diets, started balancing his body, clearing out some of the sugars, and introducing the probiotic for that good bacteria. And what a big difference it did in terms of getting things balanced. And while I was learning about him, I realized, some of this Candida imbalance was passed on through the mom, not knowing that at the time. And so I started answering some of my health issues that I hadn't figured out what they were until we were dealing with Mitchell. So being able to, the sugars and balance out, as you had mentioned, Sean, about the garlic, and then reintroducing and building up the gut biome with the Acidophilus made a huge, huge difference in my life as well. So it certainly is a favorite of both of ours, and mine. It's still my go-to when things kind of get out of balance, and I think, oh, got to get the bad bacteria back in check and get that good gut kind of going again. But yeah, it was a journey. It didn't happen overnight, making all those changes, but it certainly is a powerful and excellent product to really boost things and get things back. So that he's a strong, young man, almost 30 now, and everything's been balanced and awesome for about, I'm going to say about 8 years now. So, and mine too. Wonderful digestion system now. So it's really great to have these products available and the knowledge from everybody here.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Shelley, for sharing. And we've had a couple of people ask about kids and how can you we have an aloe vera juice. It's a liquid drink that tastes pretty good, actually. It's not bitter. And some moms will actually open up the Acidophilus and sprinkle it in the aloe and with a syringe and give it to the baby. Because they're not as acidic as we are as we get older, they will still benefit if you open up the capsule. Okay, so that is one way that you can administer, or even in the liquid vitamin, or sprinkle it in their food if they are eating like applesauce or something like that. You can just mush it in their food. So it's another great way. And we even have a lot of people that give it to their dogs. So it really helps. That's my sister, and I know you do too, Shelley, because I know the breeds that you guys have, the dogs tend to have some issues with tummy issues, and my sister says it's so much cheaper buying a good probiotic than all the vet bills that she was spending money on to try to get.
Actually, Nada, I can attest to that, because I had our dog at the same time Mitchell was going through this. I thought, I wonder if I can use it on my dog, and started introducing the same things. At one point, our dog got really sick, because I thought she was all better and took her off the Acidophilus, ended up with a $1,200 vet bill because of the issues, and have never taken her off of the Acidophilus since, and she sees the vet once a year.
Yeah, it's
so
awesome.
It's a really amazing product.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, screen is stuck. There we go. So there's also a lot of links to some of the sources to the research that we talked about this evening. So whoever invited you here tonight, if you're interested in some of these links, we can just copy and paste this and send this to you in an email. Because I know sometimes, looking at some of the links and some of the research and the studies, some of you might be interested in that as well. And after we're done this presentation, we're going to stop the recording. So if you have any questions, we are going to open it up to more questions for you as well. And Neolife does have other products. Tonight was our main focus was our Acidophilus and the probiotic, and and when you're looking at the immune system and other health challenges like joint pain and other digestive trouble, Neolife has a variety of other products to help to fill those nutritional gaps. And like I said, a vitamin D and zinc and, a glucosamine to help with your joints called Full Motion, and a vitamin pack that helps to fill the nutritional gaps, and a protein drink. So there's other products available. So again, if you're interested, just talk to the person that invited you. And these are the basic health packs that we have. If you're looking at just getting on a really good multivitamin pack, we have an amazing pack. Or if you want to add the protein shake, the most popular pack is called a breakfast pack. And then we have a weight loss program as well. So these are the basic health packs. And again, so if you're looking at just trying the product, especially getting on a probiotic like our Acidophilus Plus, it's very easy to join our wellness club. As soon as you join, you automatically get a 15% discount. If you go on monthly delivery and auto ship order, you get wholesale price, which is 25 to 30% off, okay? And if you stay on auto delivery, you can earn back all your shipping in dollars, okay? And if you introduce 3 people to one of those health packs that we talked about at the very end there, you can get yours for free every single month. So we do have quite a few of our customers and club members getting their health packs free just by sharing it with their friends and family. And then we have some fitness challenges and weight loss challenges for those of you that are looking at possibly shedding a few pounds, losing a little bit of weight. We also have an incredible community called the Neolife Healthy Living Community North America. As you can see, there's over 7,000 members right now. And there's great testimonials and stories and video interviews of people sharing their health transformations, everywhere from digestion to joint pain to diabetes, and just sharing what they've done nutritionally to support their bodies, and the different products that they took to help to fill the nutritional gaps to get their body under control. So again, this is a Facebook group, which we can invite you to. And then when you accept, you have access to all this information in this group as well. So it's a great, great community. And then one more option, when I looked at Neolife 33 years ago, I was not looking for a business opportunity. But if you're someone, who enjoys helping others, it's a great, great way to earn residual income. And as I started to share my story with people, I realized that this was something that I wanted to do. And I wanted to leave my job. I wanted time freedom to work from home. And this business has allowed me to do that. So, the benefits of becoming a club member are great. But if you're looking at generating an extra 500, 1,000 or 5,000 or plus a month, you can become a promoter and really have an impact in people's lives. So it's a great business opportunity. So I would maybe ask you to speak to the person that invited you to tonight. We do these health talks quite regularly. So this is the support we have for you that just want to learn about nutrition, or if you're looking at building a business. These are the events that you can invite people to learn more about the product as you start sharing the products with people as well. And Mariella, maybe if you want to share a little bit of your journey and your business story as well, because you have a powerful story when you were first introduced to Neolife, working as a law clerk, great job.
Thanks, Nada. Yeah, it's true. When I got started, I was just concerned about my family's health, but it was amazing once everyone who knew us started asking me what we were doing, and it was so exciting because we'd actually found something that worked, because we tried so many different products. And I just shared it like a good book or a good restaurant, and people started getting on board, and they started getting great results as well. And then I started generating some extra income, and it worked out great because I think my first check was $40, and then it just grew from there. And now, like, I've been working full time in this since 2005. And my husband's retired, and we enjoy life. And even with everything going on right now, our business is just booming. So it's great. And right now, people need what we have to offer more than ever. So it's so nice to be able to do something that's so helpful to others.
You know what? It's so true, Mary Ellen. I'm finding that there's such a need out there right now. So if you're looking at, having an impact or just helping others, what a great opportunity to really make a difference and impact people's lives. And, you know, Cindy, I know you're on with us this evening. You know, when I first met Cindy, you know, she was a single mom, you know, and her journey has been incredible. Health challenges, right, Cindy? And then maybe you just want to share how it how the business grew and how it was a plan B for you.
Yeah, thank you, Nada. Yeah, I, like everybody else, just joined for the products and for good health for myself, especially my children. But I had suffered with fibromyalgia, pain from the neck down. Had tried other supplements as well and felt I ate well, but it wasn't until I got on the Neolife products that I got results. And within a month and a half, all the pain was gone. But that just, I just started sharing it with people. I was working full time. But then, yeah, after, and just sharing that part-time, building a business part-time, but after 24 years, I was downsized. So in 2010. And so my plan, what was my plan B of just having, you know, a little extra money for travel and different things became my plan A. So, so that's been since 2010. So it's been a wonderful journey, just a wonderful community. The travel as well, and tax breaks are really awesome. Then just something I just love doing. I'm going to be 68 and, you know, I don't see myself stopping. So, you know, just being able to continue helping people and being a part of this community. Thanks. Oh, and I just want to add too, I did suffer from IBS. So the Acidophilus Plus, the probiotics are like myself too. Absolutely. First thing I do in the morning is take that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. I forget about, you know, the child, my mom has fibromyalgia and that's one product for 33 years. She's never stopped. And I was, you know, you forget about, you know, what you used to be like, and she even forgets sometimes, I guess, you know, what it's like to be without a probiotic, and it's helped to keep things in balance. So yeah, thank you for sharing, Cindy. Really appreciate hearing your story. And so I really want to thank you all for joining us tonight. And I want to, again, I really want to give a shout out to Chelsea, to Chelsea, to helping put this incredible PowerPoint presentation together for us this evening. Really was awesome. And I'm going to stop the share and stop the recording so you can answer or ask any questions that you may have.